Hello, thank you for joining the Ferrariist. Today is going to be a first in our series of shorts called the Appreciating Classic. Today I want to highlight the 968, built between 1992 and 1995 as a potential buy. Okay, they only built 12,700 of them compared to about 30 or 40,000 911s in the same era. Okay, they were built to a very high standard. This was at a time when Porsche was building cars to a standard rather than to a price. Shortly there, after the production run of these cars, there was a major engineering upheaval and process upheaval at Porsche, and the resulting cars. You could argue one way or the other, but they weren't quite as good in my view. They got better, but different story. Okay, so it came from a time when the product was very good. Number three, the performance. There's not really that much of a delta between a 911 of that era and the 968 of that era. Horsepower numbers, torque numbers, very similar. And some would say that the 968 has the handling edge because of its front engine rear transaxle layout. So performance pretty similar. Number three, the restyle. I think the restyle of the 944 made a big difference. The 968 was meant to mimic the 928 and also have shades of the 959. I personally find that style to be quite appealing with the pop-up headlights. You could beg to differ, but nonetheless, it is what I would call period correct. Whereas a 944 does look dated, the 968 still has to my eyes and perhaps to yours, a fresh look. And especially in some of the color combinations, it's a beautiful car. Okay, number four, price change or lack thereof. In 1997, my first car ever, my first Porsche ever was a 968. I paid 29,000 Canadian dollars for it. That was in 1997. At the same time, there was a choice of buying a 964 for $33,000, so $4,000 extra. For some reason, God knows why, I chose the 968 over the 964. And then, I drove it, had a great time, and sold it. Now, let's fast forward 20 years. In today's dollars, guess what? You can still buy a 968 for about $28,000 or $29,000. Whereas the equivalent 911 is about $100,000. So there's been a 3x difference. The 968 has stayed like this, and the 911's gone like this. Okay, so 968 is still affordable, and it's a great car. And most of the, when you get in, the different interior is not that different. The feel is not that different. I will grant that the air-cooled engine is a gem, and there's a whole discussion in behind that. But this is 80 or 90% of the feels at 30% of the price. And that's what the Appreciating Classic is all about. Enjoy and be able to sell at least the same level or at a profit. Haggerty bull market of 2022 identified the 968 as an investment potential car. And I tend to agree. Thanks for joining. Give me your thoughts.